afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to another episode of Footprints. My name is Mr. Davis. I'm an educator at BHS, Beverly High School. And joining me today on Footprints is the man, the myth, the legend, none other than Mr. Phil Coddaire. How you doing, Phil?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing fabulous,
Awesome.
fabulous. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, appreciate you inviting me on.
Oh, listen, we're going to find out a lot about you today,
Oh, boy.
right? We're going to find out a little bit about who left a footprint on you and why you do what you do and all of that stuff. I want to say this, though. I want to start out, and we're going to get to this story in a bit.
Yeah.
But Mr. Coddaire actually interviewed me 5 years ago, and as I came to Beverly High School, and here I am sitting here with him 5 years later, and we're about to discuss some things that are going to be really cool, so you're going to want to tune in for this. I'm going to start off right away, and I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
This is pretty simple. Tell us something about yourself that nobody knows.
That's, geez. Something that no one else knows?
No one else knows.
I mean,
Could be something quirky.
okay, I gotcha. Here's a good one. I am colorblind.
Really?
So I have no idea what colors I'm wearing usually. If it wasn't for my wife, I would have no idea how to match things. We go through a perfect routine every Sunday where we go through and line up all the clothes for the week and see what I thought and how bad my matching is. But it takes some pressure off of me, making the choice in the morning, because let me tell you, I'd come out with some pretty interesting outfits if I didn't go through things on Sundays.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, you know, you stuck in the 70s, right? With those, like, bell bottoms and all that stuff and those colors?
You know, again, blue shirt and khakis is kind of a go-to in case I don't have someone to check things out with. But other than that, you know, this is all chosen ahead of time, and that is a routine that I've gotten in a long time ago.
I like it. I like it. Well, there's something new we didn't know about you, Mr. Coddaire.
Yep.
All right. Do you have any siblings, Mr. Coddaire?
I do. I have a brother and a sister. My brother is a year younger than me, currently lives in Colorado, outside of, Boulder.
Okay.
And my sister lives in Methuen.
Oh, excellent. Older sister? Younger?
I am the oldest. They are both younger than me.
Oh.
She's the baby. She's about, 4 years younger than me? Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So I have, there's four siblings in my family.
Yeah.
Well, it's my older brother, Mark. He's older than me, then me.
Yeah.
Then I have a younger sister, Carol, and then my younger brother, Terrence. Now, here's the caveat. My dad was 6'3".
Okay.
My older brother is 6'2".
Okay.
My younger brother is 6'7", and Mr. Davis is 5'8". So go figure that. That's just wrong. That's just wrong on so many levels.
I am the older brother, but my younger brother is taller than me and has been since we were about 5 and 6. So I was always thought of as being the younger brother.
Okay.
I was never that way. I always said I was the smarter brother. We'll see how many people bite at that one. But yeah, he was always taller.
Nice.
So that was an interesting thing. He was about 6'2". And I always thought I was going to crack 6 feet, but I'm like 5'11 3/4".
Yeah, well,
now just shrinking. So.
It's funny, me too.
Yeah.
So at my
happens.
highest, I was 5'10", right? I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But I'm good. I'm good either way.
It's all good now.
I got all the basketball skill anyway, so that's a different story.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about background and motivation.
Sure, yeah.
By what you do.
Absolutely.
What sort of inspired you to sort of pursue a career in education, number one? How did that inspire? Who left a footprint on you regarding that?
So it kind of goes back to my times. I graduated from Chelmsford High School back in 1999. And as I was kind of going through that part of my life, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. I was really into this kind of stuff, actually, communications, broadcasting. Took some classes. We had some electives where I was able to kind of dabble in that stuff. And I actually realized that though I enjoyed it, it wasn't for me. I didn't feel myself. And so I started pursuing the idea of being a teacher. And then as the information I got is like I should major in a subject area that I enjoy.
Okay.
And so it really came down to weird combo. It was either going to be math or it was going to be social studies. I went into my freshman year at UMass Amherst and I was like, okay, I'm going to major in one of these two. Let's figure it out after taking some of these prerequisite classes. My first semester at UMass, I took calculus. The professor came into my class, a Polish lady by the name of Renette Kedem. I still remember her name. It's like the only professor's name I remember. She came in and she said, 40% of the students in this class will fail. That was the first class. I was like, whoa. And I looked around and I'm like, okay, who else is going to be like teachers? And every single one of them were engineers. And I'm like, okay.
Oops.
I suffered through. I figured out how to make it happen.
Nice.
And I got out of there with a B, but I did not enjoy that experience. I took some history courses and I immediately fell in love. Became a history teacher. And then with that, but it didn't happen right away.
Right.
So I got into coaching as well too. Sports has always been a love of mine.
Oh yeah.
Played football, did track. And I was like, okay, want to kind of find a way to do that. So after I graduated from college, I didn't have like a job lined up.
Right.
But I was able to kind of work my way into the school district. I started as a paraprofessional at my alma mater at Chelmsford High School, and then I started coaching. And it was that whole process of kind of connecting with kids and how that happened for me and the relationships I had with my teachers and coaches back when I was in high school.
Those are big.
Truly mattered to me. In a sport like basketball, it was not a sport that I was very good at, but I always did a basketball camp every summer.
Right.
And the connection I made with some of those coaches left a footprint on me.
Yeah.
And I saw that what they did for me, so I just kind of wanted to pay it forward and give it back.
Yeah, for sure.
And why history kind of stuck with me was because I had a great history teacher, and not because he had all of this knowledge, but he knew how to like connect with the kids and make it fun and exciting. He always did like a current events or like a riddle of the day. So when I got into teaching, I was like, I got to have my own thing. I can't copy his. So I did like a current events, and I did a today in history type of thing. So I did a lot of that kind of stuff. And then I coached, and I was coaching track and indoor and outdoor track and managing a lot of people and really kind of running things well and having a lot of success with that. So people started saying, hey, why don't you jump into administration? You'd probably be pretty good at that. And, at first I was like, no, I'm really liking this thing here that I got. But, I thought about like, how can I affect more and have more of a footprint or an imprint on some of these young men and women that I've been working with.
Absolutely.
That made a lot of sense. So the school I was teaching and coaching at in Drake High School, I eventually became an assistant principal there. And then I took a chance and jumped sideways over here to Beverly to really just kind of try to get out of my comfort zone.
Right.
Knew that I love working with kids, but try something different in a different school district where I can push myself and challenge myself in different ways.
That's really important. I'll tell you, getting out of your comfort zone and challenging yourself. Yeah. I feel like that's important because if you don't do that, then you're not really living, man. You're just kind of just hanging around, right? So tell me, what is your favorite memory from your time as a teacher? Yeah. And how did it influence the work you do today?
Yeah. I would say I worked with freshmen and sophomores, and I always taught those classes, and I was always told, when you're a new teacher, you get, the younger kids, and then as you get older, you're able to work with the upperclassmen and work in the more intellect. But as time went on and I became a teacher with, tenure, and I had more years there, they're like, okay, I was like, I want the freshmen and sophomores. I wanted them every single year because I felt like the kids that I got at the beginning of the year were definitely changing and progressing differently. They do that. And were open to that when they were younger. So I always wanted those moldable minds.
Right.
So, some of the most enjoyable stuff I did was actually not I taught world and U.S. history. U.S. history, I could, that was so much fun for me. I really enjoyed teaching about, colonialism and things up through the Civil War. Right. And that was just really cool because a lot of the history is right here. Oh, yeah. But when I taught world history and I was able to get these kids to enjoy some of the topics that wouldn't necessarily, grab at them, like talking about Middle Eastern history, colonization of Africa, different things like that, and coming up with cool, engaging projects like that, and having the kids kind of, you say, okay, these are the ideas I have for you, and you kind of give them exemplars, but then what they bring back to you is like tenfold better. Yeah. And one group did this whole commercial on a place called Esfahan, which is in Iran, and they were supposed to, try to get people to come there, and they did this whole like music video to it, and they got so into it. they worked. They were in their buddy's basement, and they filmed this whole thing. They did like a song to Miley Cyrus's Party in the U.S.
that was cool.
I still remember it to this day. They put it on a CD for it. They're like, "Here's our project, Mr. Coddaire."
How great is that?
I played it for the class, and I kept that. I still have that somewhere.
That's awesome.
So when you talk about memories I have,
that's a good one.
And those kids, I could still tell you the names of every single one
Great
of those
song
kids
too, by the way.
Yeah.
Party in the USA. We
I
love
like
it,
that
baby.
one.
We
Yeah.
love it. Tell me, how do you balance the demands of, say, your professional life with your personal life? Now, you mentioned you're married.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How many children?
So this is the second marriage I'm in.
Okay.
This is so she has 2 biological children. I have 2 biological children. So together we're a nice little Brady bunch of 4.
I like it.
Yep,
I like
yep.
it. All right.
So I got 4 kids. They are 12, 13, 13. Hers are twins. And then the oldest is 14.
Holy smokes. There's a lot of stuff going on in that house.
Uh-huh.
I have 7 kids, so I know the deal. Believe
you
me.
do.
Yes, sir. I've been there.
Yeah.
I love it. It's that's good stuff.
Yeah, but balancing it, it's it's taken time. I used to always prioritize work before anything else, just because I wanted to, kind of be the best at what I did. But realizing I got to kind of slow down, take a breath.
Got 'em.
Be present for the people at home.
Yes.
They matter more than anything else. And that this career is awesome, and I love every second of it. But my time, especially with the kids, is limited, as they will be off doing their own thing really
Believe me,
soon. I
goes
know you
quick.
got many that have done that in their lives. So, trying to make as much time for them and take those moments for
Absolutely.
them. So, looking forward to going to my daughter's, chorus concert tonight, bringing the others with me. You got to prioritize that. And luckily, when you work with the people I work with, and there's the understanding, that give and take, like, hey, you put in the time, you put in the hours, but family always comes first.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. You're right, family first.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
sure. So now, thinking about, let's get a little personal here. Just a
We
little
haven't
bit.
already?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So if you were could go back to when you were in high school,
Yeah.
what advice would you give your younger self? Right? Because
Yeah.
you've kind of gone through sort of a metamorphosis of finding out who you are
absolutely.
and with those footprints.
Yeah.
So if you could give yourself, your younger self
Yeah.
some advice, what would it be?
Well, it's kind of easy at this point, because I've been working. I realized this the other day, in high schools for over 21 years. And then you add into it my 4 years of high school, and I was telling my son this. I have 25 years of high school experience, so I'm kind of, as I told him, I kind of have the cheat code. So for me, I would say I was so focused on being an athlete and being sports, doing well in classes, but I was so focused on just being that. I would have tried to get more involved, to get out of my comfort zone, to join something, to try something that I wouldn't necessarily have done. Join a club, be in something different. My stepkids, they are great. They're doing the musical, and they take part in that. And I love that they are so well-rounded like that. Even if I just tried something different when I was in high school, I think I would have been able to be just such a better version of myself, instead of, I play sports, I go to school, I do school. Like, I think I could have been more, because, again, I love sports, but I wasn't that great of an athlete. I didn't go to college for sports.
But see, I was. See, now I gotta talk myself up.
Okay.
Mr. Davis scored 1,527 points his high school career.
That's a little bit.
Yeah, it's that. No three-point line. Second team All-Scholastic, recruited by UNH, but I played at Emerson for a couple years. And,
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Yeah, it was fun. It
Yeah.
was fun. I enjoyed every minute of it. And it's funny, we're talking about relationships, because my high school coach recently just passed away, and I would go to his house and have dinner.
Yeah.
40 plus years later,
Yeah.
that's the impact he had. That's the footprint he had on me as an individual person, not just as a basketball player, but as a person.
Yeah.
And he was more interested in that, and I loved him for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tell me, what has been the most challenging situation you've faced as an assistant principal, and how did you handle it?
Specifically, or kind of in general?
Kind of just in general.
In general, I think it's seeing some of the unfortunate, underprivileged families that I work with on a day-to-day basis, and really kind of how tough it is for them, just to kind of make ends meet, and to, therefore, and then we're saying, like, hey, by the way, make sure you get your kid to school as well, too.
Exactly.
And pay attention to what they're doing in their classes. That's the hardest part, to really kind of see and not be able to just throw a bunch of, like, resources at them. Beverly does an incredible job as a community of providing as many resources as possible, but just seeing that over and over again, whether it was at this school or my previous district, that is always the thing that pulls at you the most. You want to fix it, right?
Yeah, you do.
Like part of my job is really kind of being the problem solver, and I'm brought in because there's an issue, there's a problem, and we need fixing. That's not an easy fix.
It's
too
not.
hard, and it's
You're right.
So that's the hardest part.
It's very, very difficult. You're right.
Yep.
And the thing is, you're very good at your job. I will be honest with you. Most people are not as forthcoming and fair and tough like you. And that's one of the best things and one of the qualities I like about working with you. Is I can understand, where you're coming from on both sides of the coin. And sometimes kids don't get that. They don't understand that fact, right? So we're there to make sure they do.
Absolutely.
Can you share a moment where you kind of made a mistake, right?
How many?
And
how much time?
And how did you grow from it?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I think about a specific time. I mean, there's a lot of procedural stuff with the job in general. And I will just say, when I was early on in it, not in Beverly, I made no mistakes here. No,
Of course
never.
not.
But going through and doing the process in the right way and not rushing to a judgment or rushing to the end of what I think, and taking the time to take the proper steps to alert the certain people, to make sure there's certain amount of paperwork that needs to be done there. So that you don't skip a step, because unfortunately some people, when you're dealing with suspensions and detentions and stuff, some people are looking for you to mess up in these types of scenarios, or they're trying to get you at certain places. And just over time, the experience, just slow down, get it right, understand the process and why the process is there, because it's ultimately there to protect everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Too often did I just try to see it like one big checklist, like, okay, get that task done and then move on to the next one, because there's always, a laundry list of things to get done.
No question.
But taking the time to do it right, that just came with age and experience.
Without a doubt. That's usually what happens. As you get older, you get wiser, right? You have that life experience where things happen and you're like, wait a minute, I've seen that movie before. And you kind of know how to deal with it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's the best thing you can always bring, is that experience and wealth of knowledge.
Absolutely.
So when you're not working,
Yeah.
what hobbies or activities do you enjoy and kind of relax and do your thing?
So my kind of go-to and how to keep myself sane, as I like to say, and my family knows this too, is I run. I'm usually out in the morning in the dark with a headlamp on, getting out and getting a run in before I get to work. Just get a couple miles in, just being athletic in general. Picking up this past summer, I picked up a new hobby, or it kind of got back into it, is golfing. It's relaxing. I don't take it overly serious, but it kind of scratches the itch of being competitive, but having fun, conversing with somebody else. So, and I'm trying to think long term with that too. That's something I can do into my later ages, and as I do into retirement. So
I golf like Charles Barkley, so I'm terrible.
No, so I've improved, but again, you have your good days and your bad days. But a good day is if you get to get out there.
No doubt.
On a nice weather day. So I've had a lot of fun doing that at some of the courses around here. This past summer and fall. During the fall, it's really hard to find any time, though. So it's mostly the summertime.
For the summertime?
Yeah, but just staying active. If it's not that, hiking, getting around, and then, it's not a hobby, but being at my kids' sporting events or their musicals, their plays, their activities that they have, being present for them.
Well, I'll tell you something, that will leave an indelible footprint on them, because my parents did that for me. I was a junior in high school. I'll never forget this, before my basketball game. My parents were at every one of my sporting events. My brothers, my sisters. And I said to my dad one day, I'm like, Dad, you're at Mark's sporting events, you're at Carol's, you're at Terrence's, you're at mine. Why are you at our sporting events? How do you do this? He goes, Tony, if it's important to you, it's important to us. And I was like, wow, I was blown away by that answer. I was a junior in high school when he said that to me. I never forgot it. And so as I had my 7 children, I wanted to do the same thing. I wanted to pay that forward, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I wanted to leave those footprints on them and let them know I'm going to be there for you no matter what.
Yep.
And you're doing the same thing with your kids, which
Best
is
I
awesome.
can, but sometimes it's like I got to be in 3 places at once.
It's all right,
so that's
man.
what my Saturday looks like. So if you have I said I have the cheat code for high school, but if you have a cheat code to be in 3 places at once, please let me know.
Oh, I wish I had that one. Believe me, I
I'll
do.
do what I can.
Yes, that's it. That's all to do. You do what you can.
Yep.
So now, if you had a superpower, right, to help with your job,
Yeah.
what would it be and why?
Well, most people think I actually have the ability to walk through walls because I suddenly am one place and then another, and they're like, "How are you? What? I was like, "I just walk. You didn't know I could walk through walls?" Yeah, it kind of is that ability to kind of like pop up in one place, pop up in another place, and to be omnipresent, to kind of teleport from one place to the next. That would probably make my job as easy as possible.
Yeah.
Done are the years where I'm chasing kids down the hall. I can't confirm nor deny that I did that in my past.
No, you don't do that.
No, there's no reason for that anymore.
No.
But yeah, definitely teleportation. I think would be a helpful one, or maybe read their minds. But with so much experience now, I kind of can't. I don't want to say I can read all minds, but as I tell a lot of kids, like I've seen this show before. I know kids like you. I know where we're at with this and how we're gonna. How this is all going to play out. So just tell me the truth right now so we can get to where we got to go with this.
It's awesome. So I gotta relate a quick story. So the reason why we're here talking today is because last year I taught a leadership class.
Yes.
And from that class, I had an assignment that we were watching a movie called Pay It Forward. And so the kid in the movie was like, okay, my social studies teacher challenged me to change the world.
Yeah.
So he took it literally and said, I'm going to take this and I'm going to do 3 things for people, 3 random acts of kindness that, I can't, they can't pay me back or anything, but I want to do that. So what ended up happening is he started this whole movement because of it, right? And I started thinking about that, and I was like, I want to do something like that. And this is where Footprints sprung from, right? From that particular assignment.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That I want to make a difference.
Yeah.
Not only just to for myself, but for other folks who might be watching this and say, hey, I'm like him. I didn't know that. He had a sibling. I didn't know that he had kids. I didn't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Leaving a footprint is a huge thing.
Absolutely.
And I love doing it. Do you have any pets?
Do I have any pets? No, not at this time. I used to have a yellow lab, but passed away about 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, I know.
It is what it is.
Tough.
So,
it's tough.
now with the constant coming and going, and it doesn't make sense at this time, but I can't rule out in the future of the possibility. But.
Good, because my daughter has purebred Shih Tzus, and they just had puppies.
Oh, no, that's not happening. No, if I'm getting a dog, it's got to be a bigger dog. I am not.
You can't get a small one.
Not a fan.
With the little legs.
Nope, not a fan of. Not my whole family knows. Phil is not a fan of little dogs.
Not a fan of little dogs.
No, definitely not. Chihuahuas, Shih Tzus, new.
Yeah. I said no way.
Nope.
I love it. Well, maybe we'll just give you one for free. It can be a companion for the big one, right?
Donate.
Okay.
Don't do it.
So, if you had anywhere in the world that you could go on a dream vacation, you and your wife, anywhere, where would it be and why?
So we are big kind of history buffs, and we've already kind of talked about where would we love to go. We'd love to travel, hit up Europe and do that. Now, could we just do like Italy, Greece, and do something over that way? Or just kind of bounce around throughout Europe and kind of travel and get all historic and stuff. I could geek out big time. I think it would probably, I think because it would be more relaxing, is probably do like the Italy, Greece, and be out there in the coast. But, I have not been over across the Atlantic yet, so that is definitely a to-do as I get older. And
man, that sounds like fun.
As the kids leave the house, we're gonna do that. I did a cruise a couple years ago, and it was fantastic down in the Caribbean, and loved every second of that. So even if it was like a Mediterranean cruise, that'd be nice too.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, man.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I told you I have 7 kids.
Yes, you did.
So my son Cameron, who's 30,
Yep.
is getting married next year.
Can we talk about? Wait, first off, you have a 30-year-old son.
I do.
How
I
is
have a
that
30-year-old son. I have a 39-year-old daughter That's nuts, right?
Yep.
I look pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how that happened.
I don't know either. I wouldn't say you were a day over 40, but
Well, thank
I know
you very
that's
much.
not possible.
I appreciate it. It's not indeed. But Cameron is supposed to get married in Italy.
Oh,
It's
boy.
supposed to be a destination wedding.
Oh, boy.
So I'm supposed to be in charge of, guess what, transportation. I don't know
on
how
the
that's
plane.
going to work.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to work. But I think they're probably going to figure some things out. That's what they were thinking. They're
Yeah.
probably going to change up. They might do it here.
Yeah.
Because his grandmom's a little older and she
Yeah.
can't really do a lot of traveling. So we're going to figure
Yeah,
that.
those destination weddings always seem like they're really awesome to do, but then to get a lot of people to actually show up, like
Yeah.
you're asking a lot of people, keep it close, and then, there's other ways to do it.
Definitely, without a doubt. So I love this question because I get a myriad of answers with
All right.
this one. So if you could have lunch with anyone, dead or alive,
Just knew that was coming.
in history,
Oh, boy.
who would it be and why?
Oh, my goodness. Jeez. I probably go. Man, there's a lot. Can I just sit down with all the founding fathers? Can I do that? And just really understand? I don't think they understood. Well, I think part of them understood how big what they were trying
It's
to do was
amazing
going to
what
be.
they did.
But I like the lasting imprint and footprint that they've left on the United States, and,
for sure.
and how everybody knows the names like Washington, Jefferson, Adams, Franklin.
Yeah.
Any of them would be awesome. I would just be mind blown. I'd just be writing stuff down and just,
I know, right?
Giddy little schoolgirl type of deal.
So if you think about it, right, you're right. It is an unbelievable question.
Yeah.
And I've asked it, and I get so many different answers. Someone said
sure you
Jesus
do.
one time.
Jesus,
I
wow.
was like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, but that's
Yeah,
that's
I
cool.
get it.
So for me, it was two people. One would be Kobe Bryant. I was
Okay.
very lucky to meet Kobe Bryant in my life twice.
Yeah.
I worked for the Celtics during the summertime. Shameless plug.
I was just gonna say.
But it was great to meet him. So
Yeah.
I met him when the Celtics won the championship in 2008. And I also met him when they lost the championship to the Lakers in 2010. And I would just ask Kobe, like, you're 17. Why did you think you could come into a men's league and do what you did? Like,
Yeah.
what was your mindset? What was your thinking? Like, you're just like wet behind the ears. You just you just started your life. Like,
Yeah.
you're young. Like, how did you know you were going to be this? Right? Did you have that foresight? And where did that come from?
Yeah.
I wanted to know that. And then the other one would be Martin Luther King. For me, MLK was big in my lifetime when I was a kid. It was really, really huge. Had a profound effect on me in terms of how things would go. And I would sit down with him and I would ask him, literally, like, how did you think, and why did you think that nonviolent would work? That would galvanize people and bring them together and have one message. How did you? Why was that? Why not fight fire with fire? I would ask him that question. You know what I mean? Because I think it's important for us as individuals, educators, and as people to realize we're all different, but we're all trying to get to the same place, man.
Yep.
Right? We all want to have fun. We all want to have a great career. We all want to enjoy our lives.
Absolutely.
Right? We're all trying to make money. We're all trying to do these things, right?
Yeah.
And so I would ask him that question, like, how did you know that would be one of the things that would galvanize us as a society?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that to me was huge.
Yeah.
In my life. Cool. Any particular heroes you have that with you?
No.
Anybody that really inspired you to do anything outside of teaching? Maybe a hobby or something?
No, not necessarily. I kind of, I blazed my own trail.
Yes.
I took coach. It's not like one coach or one teacher. It's kind of like a conglomerate.
Yeah,
everything kind of
yeah.
came together.
Yeah.
But I was always focused on the positive. So I always tried to, the power of positive thinking and different aspects of that. And I've just, anybody that has kind words or any time that they try to motivate and really try to push somebody to be their best selves. That's kind of what I've always gravitated towards.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of people that throughout my life have kind of motivated me to be at my best.
Yeah.
So
no doubt.
I'd say that.
So I've been very blessed in my life as well, having two stable parents, being there for all of us, and just putting the footprints on me and my brother and my sisters, and making sure we understand that we have a responsibility not just to ourselves, but to those we come in contact with.
Absolutely.
Right? Because when you come in contact with someone, you're leaving a footprint on them,
Yep.
whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. So you want to make sure it's a good one,
Oh, yeah.
right? And they remember you for that particular encounter,
Absolutely.
which is really amazing.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've come to the end of our podcast. Unfortunately,
Time flies.
Oh my gosh, time flies. We're having fun. I had a great conversation with Mr. Phil Coddaire today. And don't forget to check us out on SoundCloud and also Channel 22. And I will be back with you again with another episode of Footprints. But until then, I ask you one question. Who left a footprint on you, and how are you going to pay it forward? That's actually two questions, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
All right. I'll see you later.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.